back on the air. We're at O'Brien and Levine, and this is On the Record, the Radio Entrepreneurs this week's show dedicated to the best litigators of the Boston area. My name is Jeffrey Davis of Mage, and my co-host for the week, backing me up, fixing me up, is Mark Z from Mark Z Legal Staffing.
Always backing you up, buddy. You're doing a great job. This is a wonderful show, and meeting the best litigators there are, not only locally but nationally.
And I know you like this next guest a lot. It's Chuck Rodman from Gesmer, Updegrove, and we're going to talk family and employment litigation, correct?
Sounds great.
Great. Chuck, just tell us a little bit about, your practice, what you do, what you try to focus in on.
The focal point of my practice is disputes. It's not something that a lot of lawyers are comfortable delving into. I tend to gravitate toward the more acrimonious cases, and so I'll tell clients, if you want to work it out, I'm not the guy for you. If you're interested in winning and fighting and going to court and trying the case, we'll do it. And most of the litigation that we get involved in relates to business of some kind. It can be employment disputes. It can be disputes between members of a closely held business, family businesses, professional liability claims, real estate-related litigation. So it runs the gamut, so long as the dispute arises out of the operation of a business.
Chuck, tell us a little bit more about your employment practice and your employment litigator, because although what's interesting about you is, yes, you have the backbone and you could take the case and do whatever it takes to win. At the same time, you understand as a litigator, because I've seen you involved in certain cases, when it's time to cut bait, try to make a resolution that's going to work for everybody.
Yeah, it's a good point you make. Not every case is designed to be tried. Some cases, a win is something that occurs outside of the courtroom. It depends upon the case. And I once had a lawyer ask me, what kind of attorney are you when you get into a dispute, one that's really acrimonious? And I tell them, tell me who my client is, and I'll tell you what kind of lawyer I am, because it's so dependent upon the personality of the client and what they're trying to achieve, what the objective is. So not every case will we go to the mat and commit to trying the case. It really depends. But the cases that end up being a product of the client's desire to resolve it amicably, I tend to shift those matters to my partners. The ones that I end up really succeeding in are the ones where the client is committed to litigating the case and getting a judge or a jury to make a decision that they can't get. They can't get that decision, that resolution, outside of court. And so they'll come to me, and that's the kind of case. In the employment context, to answer your question, we'll do management side representation as well as employee side representation.
Right.
We don't find that there's any business conflict in doing both sides of the case. The ones that I enjoy the most are representing employees. And the right kind of employee to get into a dispute and to make the case enjoyable to work on is someone who's incredibly passionate and dedicated to their craft, whatever it is, and feels like they've been wronged, and we can verify that under whatever law applies to the case that they in fact have been wronged, and the employer disagrees. And so in order to get a remedy, we have to go to court.